So how I kind of look at this is we're using the money that we would have been spending on food to kind of pay for our travel. So what we could have done if we wanted to optimize even more is used points for like hotels, but we chose to stay at like an Airbnb because it was pretty cheap here, which is part of the reason we decided to come here. And also it looked like a really nice place, and it turns out it really is. People are really nice. Anyways, so that would be another way to get it even cheaper, and then pretty much your only expenses are going to be food. So we've been trying to keep that relatively cheap. But also the food here is not all that expensive, so it's not that much more than living at home and then, you know, going out and spending that money doing other things. So we're able to eliminate having to worry about paying for the travel, and if we wanted to, we could have eliminated paying for the housing, and then you just have like your whole budget is just focused on spending money on what's really going to bring you value, whether that's going around trying all the food, getting, you know, a lot of drinks, or going out on boat tours or whatever it is. So you can choose to spend money on what's really important instead of like getting slammed with all that big stuff before you even get to any of the fun stuff. So I think that's just a really cool thing, and you can pretty much get multiple trips to almost wherever you want in the world per year if you follow this strategy.
So I just got back from a trip to Belize, and I had an awesome time. I was there for a full week with my wife, and we just had a great time. But I kind of wanted to share how you guys can do the same type of thing too with travel rewards, how you can save like 33% on your everyday expenses and use that to travel and to have free flights and pretty much never pay for a flight again. And this is how I did it. This is how we got our trips, and we've had a couple other trips, and we're about to book another trip. And you can also use this for free hotels. And it's not anything sketchy. We're going to be using credit cards, and pretty much the whole idea here is you use a credit card, you get a very specific ones, you get a very big sign-up bonuses. A lot of people have misconceptions about this, especially with like Dave Ramsey, where they think credit cards are a bad thing, but they can really be a really powerful tool, and they can save you thousands of dollars a year if you're using them correctly, if you're paying them off immediately on time, in full, every time. If you have a good credit score, this can actually help your credit score. It's not gonna destroy it or anything. There's really no risks to it. People have been doing this for years and years, and it really works. And I've been doing this for a few years, and it's already saved me well over a couple $1,000s. So real quick, let me give you a quick overview of what travel hacking is. Now, I've talked about this before, I think once, but it's such an amazing tool. We just use this. I just kind of want to show you like what we did, and then also what cards you should be getting and all that. So pretty much you get very specific cards. So I'll just use one for an example. The Chase Sapphire Preferred card has like a 60,000 point bonus right now, and you need to spend $4,000 within the first 3 months in order to get that bonus. So what you're going to do is put all your normal spending on there, maybe your electric bill, all your groceries, all your your phone bill. You can prepay. If you don't spend $4,000 within 3 months, which is good for you, then you can like prepay your taxes, you can prepay certain things, but as long as you're paying that off in full, you're winning. So what the credit card companies are doing is they have these huge bonuses, and they're saying like, hey, come get our credit card, and you can have this huge bonus, because most Americans are going to spend even more money than they can afford, and then they're going to end up having debt, and the credit card companies are going to make money, which is why they are worth billions of dollars, is because everybody does that. Everybody overspends on credit cards. So that's how they win. If you want to win, all you need to do is not pay interest. Just pay your credit card on time like they say that they want you to do, and then you can get that enormous bonus. You can take those points after you hit that 3 months. You hit that minimum spend of $1,000, $2,000, $4,000 depending on the card, and you get that 50, 60, 80,000 point bonus. Then you stop, you move to the next card, you still have those points, and then you get another card, you do the same thing. You do that twice in 6 months, now you have 100,000 points. You can take a pretty good trip for 100,000 points, possibly 2 or even 3 trips, depending on what type of points they are. And even if you don't want to travel, you can even take, let's say, instead of 50,000 points, you can take $500 and just take that cash and use it towards whatever you want. So it's just a really cool tool to just get pretty much free money, and you just put in your everyday expenses. You're doing it a little bit differently. You're being very responsible with your credit card, and you're paying that off immediately. So people usually ask, will this hurt my credit? Yes and no. So it will lower it just a little bit, a few points, 5 points, something like that, 2 to 5. and then it will go back up. It might go even down a little bit more than that depending on what's going on. So like for example, I actually just went under contract while I was in Belize on a property, so I haven't seen it yet. Actually, the home inspection is later today, so it'll be the first time I see it. But I cannot really, I mean I could, but I don't want to sign up for a credit card right now and start that whole process again, because that could screw up my loan and I don't want to have any issues with that. So if you're under contract for something, or you're about to like need to get a loan for something, then probably don't do this, because it can mess things up with your debt to income ratio and all that. But for the most part, it's not really going to make that much of an impact on your score. And for me and my brother, since we've started doing this, it's actually increased our scores overall, and we're in the high sevens, I think, both of us. And maybe if I buckle down a little bit, I could get it up over 800, but it doesn't really matter to me when you have thousands of dollars per year, and it'll just cost you 10, 20 points. Now if you're in that low range where you don't have any credit, probably don't do this and just start building up your credit. You can start with some other cards like the Discover It card or whatever. Start building up your credit, pay that off every single month. Make sure you don't have any outstanding debt, and then eventually you can get up to these cards and start taking advantage of the free stuff that they're offering. Knowledge, just here in my garage. That's actually me impersonating Grego Gallagher, impersonating whatever the other dude's name is. So reference within a reference.
Just here in my garage.
Here in my garage. Knowledge.
And the really cool thing is that you can do this twice. You can run through all these cards, and I'll go over the order real quick. We're not going to go deep dive into it. I'm just going to give you a quick overview so you have everything you need to know. If you want to dive deeper into it, do that on your own time. But you can run through all these cards. You get all those 5-10 chase cards, and then you move over to the venture card and all these other ones that offer these huge sign-up bonuses. Now there are a few rules about how you can do this and the amount of time. For instance, the chase has a 524 rule, which means in 24 months or 2 years you can only get 5 credit cards through them. So that means that if you got 5 Discover cards or whatever, then you couldn't get any more chase cards. So 5 overall cards within 2 years. So what we recommend doing is you go through and you get these certain 5 chase cards, and then you can move on to other ones if you want to get more than 5 cards in 2 years. For me, I'm just getting my 6th card now because we haven't traveled enough. So this is really inspiring me to travel more because it's free. And I just can't spend the points as fast as we're earning them. So I have a few 100,000 points that I haven't used yet. And we're going to use those soon. And I just started doing this. I've already had multiple free flights. Like for instance, when me and my wife last year, we went to Florida to see my sister. We would have paid for those flights anyways, and it cost us, I think it was 11 or 12,000 points for the both of us round trip, and $11. So for $11 and whatever it was, 12 or 15,000 points, we both went round trip to Florida. So before we get into exactly what cards, a lot of people have, they misunderstand this as you're looking to get one card, get that bonus, and then you keep using that card and get, a couple points per dollar or 1.5% back or whatever. It's really almost worthless. The card is almost worthless after you get that bonus. You can keep racking up points, but you'd have to spend, $50,000 to get 50,000 points. Or you can spend, $3,000 and get that same amount of points. So after you hit that, it's really best to just move on to the next card. A lot of people get defensive and just like they're happy with their 1.5%, which is, if you're happy with that, that's totally fine. I just think this is a really cool hack, and there's pretty much no downside to it. All right, so the first step here is to stop opening other credit cards. Like for instance, if you go to TJ Maxx, they might offer you 10% or $10 off your order, or just like really, really horrible rewards. And a lot of people actually have those, and I would recommend stop getting those because that's going to count against your 524, your 5 credit cards within 24 months. So don't get those. Don't fall for that. If you think 10% is good, what about 50%? Look at those other ones, and that's only 10% at their store. You're getting 50% back on your groceries. Like the very, very minimum you should be accepting if you're going to open a credit card is about $500. Is the least amount you should ever get.
So if you're like me and you don't spend all that much money and you need to hit one of these bigger spends, like a $4,000 minimum spend, then you can do things like prepay some of your utilities. Like I prepay a lot of groceries. I'll buy like a couple of months worth of groceries and get like $100 gift cards. And then we'll just have our groceries paid for the next few months. And then once we run out of gift cards, we'll go ahead and get another card, buy all of our stuff again, and that way we get our bonus, and we never actually pay full price for anything, and we're always getting rewarded big time for all of our groceries and utilities. Or if you have a big purchase, like you're getting a laptop, you could get a card right before you need your laptop and then buy that, and that would almost get the bonus right there, and you get, you know, a lot back on those. So that's one cool trick. So the first one I started with, and I definitely recommend, is the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. This one has a $4,000 minimum spend within the first 3 months, and you get a 60,000 point bonus, which I believe it was 66,000 points for me and my wife to go to Belize, and that was about $850 worth of travel that paid for. So it's definitely, you know, like one card is worth $800 for that trip at least, and you can have it be worth more depending on where you're going and the times and destinations and moving things around. So I think the next best card is going to be the Chase Inc. Business Card. This one has an 80,000 point bonus if you spend $5,000 within the first 3 months. Now you might be like, well, I don't own a business. Anything can be a business. It doesn't have to be really official. They're not really strict with this. It can be babysitting, it can be, you know, for me it's real estate or YouTube or whatever you do on your little side hustle. Anything can really be a business. They'll just try to verify it with you. It's pretty easy to get through. And then that's a pretty big minimum spend, so you might want to plan that, especially around something big. For me, I'm trying to plan that around a rehab where I'm about to get a property, or I know I'm going to get one soon, or I just got one and I need to spend, you know, $5,000-$10,000 to fix it up. That's when I'm going to get this. I'm going to put everything on there. We'll get that 80,000 point bonus for something that we're going to do anyways, and that's a really, really cool one. There's plenty more. Those are just some of the top ones. So I would definitely recommend just pick one. Go Chase Sapphire Preferred. Go simple. Get that first flight, and then you're going to be like, wow, this is pretty sweet, and I think you'll get addicted. And there's definitely videos that go in a lot more detailed than this. This is just pretty casual, just kind of telling you what I did and how I took advantage of this. And I just think it's really cool that like everybody should be doing this. There's really no downside to it as long as you have your finances under control a little bit. It's one of the perks of having that FI, the financial independence mindset, and the, you know, like the minimalist mindset, whereas everything's in order with your finances. You can really, it makes it a lot better. It's really expensive to be poor and to be in debt, like all those things which make it harder to get out of debt, and makes it harder because you can't save thousands of dollars a year if you're not in a good financial state. So it's really good to dig yourself out, and then you can everything starts to get better as you start to work on your finances. If you guys enjoyed this, share it with a friend who you think might get some value out of free travel, or, you know, might think this is cool. Drop a like, it helps the algorithm a ton, and you know, say what's up in the comments. Don't literally say what's up, but like ask questions, say hi. Follow me on Instagram. I have an Instagram. It's true. I should probably end this video now.